Meteorologist Matthew East here with you. This is the Wednesday, November 25th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Today, of course, the day before Thanksgiving. Lots of folks with some travel plans today as the Thanksgiving holiday weekend is upon us. And as we go through this video, I'll show you some of the spots where there could be some travel delays for you on one of these typically busiest travel days of the year today. And also, of course, we'll look at the Thanksgiving holiday weekend forecast and the pattern for next week and potential storm systems and whatnot as the video unfolds. So let's get right into it. The radar this morning, rain and storms down in Florida, and also some rain that's been locally heavy at times around the Great Lakes region, and some mixed precip, mainly snow in parts of Nebraska this morning. Down across the southeast, again, if you have travel plans that take you to Florida, there's going to be some travel delays down that way with some rain and storms, and that rain's going to try to develop on up through coastal parts of Georgia, South Carolina, and eventually North Carolina as today and tonight unfold. Now again, there's that rain around the Great Lakes region. Certainly some travel delays, a possibility if you're heading that way today. Some snow through parts of Nebraska this morning. That'll spread down into Kansas and maybe even western Missouri as today unfolds. And even though the radar is quiet over the Pacific Northwest, there will be another front moving in there late today. So if you happen to be heading there to the northwestern U.S., today and tonight, some travel delays could develop up that way. High temperatures today, pretty mild day before Thanksgiving from the southern plains up through the eastern seaboard down into Florida. But a push of cooler air coming, and I'll show you tomorrow's high temperatures in just a moment. Here's the setup today. Now, this is the GFS model, and what's going on here is the National Weather Service is developing a parallel GFS model. In other words, a revised edition of the GFS, basically, with some updated components to it, and that'll be replacing the current GFS relatively soon. So what I'm going to do is start showing that parallel run of the GFS in my videos. Might as well go ahead and get used to its biases and tendencies. So again, this will be the new parallel run of the GFS I'm showing probably here on out on most of my videos. So this, again, the 0Z run today. This is valid 1 o'clock this Wednesday afternoon. Ridge going up in the Rockies, trough carving out in the eastern part of the country in terms of precip. There's the precip around the Great Lakes, heavy rain down in Florida, and that rain spreading up through immediate coastal parts of the Carolinas, and there's that system pushing into the Pacific Northwest as well. Now, Thanksgiving Day, there comes the push of cooler air moving in. Area of low pressure off of Hatteras, so the rain pulling away from the coastal parts of the Carolinas tomorrow. And high temperatures, there comes the cooler air. Highs only in the 40s around the Great Lakes region. Now, this is certainly nothing brutal, but it's just a colder air mass moving into the eastern part of the country. This is not true Arctic air, though. Let's go out to Friday. A lot of folks doing some shopping or picking out Christmas trees on Friday. Well, here's the setup. Some snow showers still look likely from Thursday night into Friday in the mountains. Not a heavy event, but some snow showers nonetheless. And there will be some pretty good snow in interior New England, mainly the higher elevations there from Pennsylvania on up through New York as we go through Friday. Here in the Piedmont of North Carolina, pretty quiet as our Friday unfolds. We'll see a lot of sunshine. It'll be a cooler day on Friday. Highs in the lower side of the 50s with a lot of sunshine. All right, Saturday, we start off at or below freezing in many Piedmont locations. Beautiful day Saturday, lots of sunshine, highs in the 50s. Sunday, getting a little milder. We warm things up toward the lower side of the 60s with, again, lots of sunshine. All right, then the forecast gets trickier again. Here we are on Monday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, this is the 0Z run of the parallel GFS, and at that point in time, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, low pressure taking shape in southern Louisiana. Here we are 7 p.m. Monday evening, low pressure near Mobile and Biloxi beginning to strengthen. Still dry here again on that parallel run of the GFS. Let me show you the old version of the GFS, and by that point in time it had rain moving in Monday, so it's a little quicker. The current, I guess you could say the current run of the GFS, not the parallel run, the current version of the GFS bringing that rain in Monday. Let me show you a couple of the other models here. European model, it still has us dry through the day Monday. And the Canadian model here, it's beginning by late afternoon and evening to spread that rain in from the west. And notice the Canadian at that point in time has the low near the upstate of South Carolina and that western tip of North Carolina. So let's go on out here in time. This is back to the parallel run of the GFS, and at 1 o'clock Tuesday it has that heavy rain spreading on through. So still a lot of uncertainty with how that system unfolds. It certainly looks like late Monday and certainly Monday night into Tuesday we'll have a good shot of rain. Could be some heavy rain involved, maybe even a few thunderstorms depending on how this system unfolds, although the greatest chance of that probably stays to our south. And it just looks like, at least with this system, no wintry weather here in our area. Even the mountains probably staying all rain with this until the tail end of the system, as we might see some colder air switching things over to snow as the system pulls away Tuesday. But not a big winter weather producer here in our region with that system. Now, where does the pattern go from there? European model on the left, GFS on the right. This is the upper air chart, the average of days 8, 9, and 10. So really we're looking at the second half of next work week. And the European continues to have this trough centered more in the central part of the country, whereas the GFS wants to move it toward the Mississippi Valley during that time frame. Really a lot of similarities in the modeling. The European showing a ridge in the western part of Canada, ridge in the eastern part of Canada. GFS is similar, just the exact placement of that trough is a little different. And at least things in our hemisphere and our part of the world fairly similar on both those models, with the exception of the exact placement of that trough. Not all, in the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot of difference, but in what it means for our weather, it is a big difference. The European would keep things much milder here toward the end of next week, while the GFS would indicate some colder air. So let's go on out, show you the GFS. This is now 8 o'clock, I should say 7, I'm getting the time change in my mind. 7 o'clock in the morning, Thursday of next week, December 3rd, so a week from tomorrow. Area of low pressure moving off the coast, and a lot of cold air still around the eastern part of the country and the central part of the country. Out a little further in time, Saturday, pretty good shot of cold air moving from the Mississippi Valley into our area as well, much of the eastern U.S., and a pretty cold pattern on the GFS by Saturday, December 5th. And out toward the end of the run here, this is Wednesday, December 9th, another storm system being shown on the GFS. So I really have no changes in my overall thoughts. I think certainly a relatively mild system early next week, some rain, maybe heavy rain with that. But then we see that after that system presses by us, ease into a colder pattern. Now, how cold is tough to say, but it does look like at least a colder pattern as we get into the first couple of weeks of December, and it still looks like there'll be an active storm track. So for you winter weather fans, I don't have any changes. The models are going to be flipping and flopping as they deal with this pattern change, but I think overall colder pattern, stormier pattern, so we'll see how that plays out as we go into December. Alright, that's it for today's edition of the video. No new video tomorrow on Thanksgiving Day, but I should have one for you Friday morning. And that'll be the last video for this week. So no video Thursday for Thanksgiving, but there should be one Friday morning. Everyone have a great day, great Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great Thanksgiving, and God bless.